Tigers, the team that plays to win for you and me.
Yes, welcome back, Shimboners. On today's pod, we'll be going through all our usual preview, debuting a new segment, Chief, that has come from your wonderful mind. Well, it's about time you bring something because you do zero prep, but looking forward to see what you've got in store later in the pod, as well as going through our regular segments with the team changes last time we met and having a general analysis of Geelong and what big challenges face us. But I suppose we should start by saying that we'll be over there.
Yes.
Heading across to Melbourne to watch the Royal Blue and White go against the other Blue and White.
Yes, against the Hoops. So, as we said before, we're meant to go because this was meant to be our 100th anniversary game for being in the VFL/AFL, but more powerful people than this little podcast changed it on us.
Yeah,
so
which
now
I'm
we're
still
going,
not happy about.
So now we're going to watch us demolish the Cats.
Oh, well, I don't know where we're going to watch the VFL, are we?
Well, I might watch them there Sunday.
But anyway, you've got me off topic, but we are wearing the centenary Guernseys, which is nice.
Yes.
So we will get to see that in the flesh. But I just want to start off the pod by saying thank you to our 500 YouTube subscribers. On our next pod reviewing the Geelong game, we'll be randomly selecting a subscriber to give away a prize pack. So it's not too late. You have until whenever we drop our next pod to get in and subscribe.
Yes, well, it won't be until Monday evening at the earliest. Might even be a bit later than that because we don't come back to... Well, I don't come back to late Sunday. Still plenty of time to subscribe and get the merch package.
Right, so let's get into some footy chat before we bore the listeners to death. Episode 130 today, so continuing our play numbers. Funnily enough, this is actually where we started. On episode 30, a long time ago, we started this up.
We did. It just came naturally as a bit of a conversation piece, but we'd missed the first 30, and then I think we only did 30, then 38.
Yeah,
it was a bit of a random... We were a bit loose back then, looser than we are now.
Yeah, which is saying something. So, number 30 will refresh the boners who might not have been around 100 episodes ago, but my favourite number 30, Jared Waite. Absolutely love what he brought to the club. He just could have been anything if he didn't get injured, but what he was pretty consistent when he pulled on the blue and white, which was something he didn't do all that often when he was in the navy blue. He'd either be belting blokes or getting injured when he was hitting form, but he was a great piece for us in our finals tilt in 2015, and then was pretty solid as well in his remaining time at the club. Probably could have gone another year, really. He was still playing some good footy, but I think he didn't really want to do another pre-season, to be completely honest. But yeah, that'd be... he was my favourite, and he used to have the Ric Flair style celebration. You go, woo! Whenever he kicked a goal, and good celebrator. And a pretty good user, but he'd have that one time every fortnight where he'd have the ball on the wing and he'd try and think he was a silky, kick it inboard and turn it over, goal.
Yeah. Yes, a couple of errors, but yeah, great. And I think he's the type of player we need now. That mobile, tall, second or third tall. How often he'd run in behind Benny Brown and just take a little chest mark when they'd kick it over his head. Something unusual for North to miss a target going inside forward. But he was there to clean. He could take a hanger. He's very mobile. And we certainly got the better. He picked him up as a free agent, and Carlton didn't really want him, and he showed glimpses at Carlton, but was very inconsistent, as you said. And he was pretty consistent for us, and we certainly played his best footy for the Kangas.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. He didn't even cost that much in terms of salary from memory either.
No.
He was a great pickup from Cam Joyce in a time where he didn't have many. So
No. Well, we got good free agents back then, but we didn't hit the draft that well.
No, that's a great point you make. But yeah, really loved Wadey and what he brought. And he kicked a bag against Adelaide down in Hobart when we had that 64-0 first quarter and we were there at Boot Park.
Yes, and I think was that the game he got suspended? Because it was about the first time a sling tackle, and he didn't even bring him to ground, but I think it might have been Lynch, who's now our VFL coach, that he tackled.
I think it was.
Yeah,
on the money
and
there.
he swung him round in the spin, not so much to ground, but he hit his head on someone else's hip, and Wadey copped a couple of weeks for that, which I thought, once again, was very unjust. And the North Boys did not fight it. So we've been on the North Boys for a while. Let me know. We're not going to talk about them again.
No, that's still on the watch list forever.
Yeah, they're
Forever etched in
engraved.
history.
They're engraved, yes, etched in history.
Right, who's your favourite number 30?
Well, as of last year, Sil Chom. He's inaugural member of the CCC, and just love the way he goes about it. And hopefully watch him for another 10 years if he can stay fit and not injured. But high flyer, isn't he? We don't need to talk about him. We all talk about him enough, don't we?
Yeah, it's more sort of we go in detail for the players who aren't presently on the list.
Does he play forward or back for the next 150 games?
Oh, I think back, but I think he'll play forward for the rest of the season.
Okay.
But I'd see him as a all-Australian intercept defender.
Well, so do I, but I still think he can be a very good forward. Very good.
He's
a
struggled
natural
on the
forward.
weekend. He's set shot goal kicking's a worry for mine.
Yeah, we're same with all our forwards. Well,
Jack Darling.
okay,
Nick
sorry.
Larky,
All the ones who aren't regularly up there. I mean, like Finbar.
Oh, okay. Well, he's been pretty good this year. Anyway, we've got off topic a little bit, but
We have.
The question I want to ask you is, and you obviously long-term listeners know that you don't read any of the rundown nor participate in creating it. Which, to be fair, it's a tiny rundown anyway. We go off the show in all corners of conversation. But the question I want to ask you without notice is: does Taylor Goad debut this weekend? Yes or no? If you're on the selection panel, are you playing him?
Yes.
That's a big call. You going to say yes?
Yes, I just said it.
Right. Okay. I'm probably going to say no.
Testing. Is this mic on? Yes.
I'm thinking no. I think it's still a bit early, but I wouldn't be mad if he did. But as we're recording now, 5 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, still no video out from the club.
No. So I think the choice is Teakle cramped up, as we said in the review pod, at 3/4 time. So he cannot ruck a full game, or he can't do the majority of it. He's probably got to do a 50-50, maybe 60-40 split. Certainly less than what Big X would carry. So who's going to be the second ruck? It's either going to be Finbar, who can play obviously forward better than Goad, or it's going to be Goad. And I think, well, let's give him a go. Let's give him a taste.
Yeah, well...
And he played pretty well in the VFL. His form, about mid-season form in his VFL was good. Then he dropped off for a few weeks, but he was good last week. Geelong haven't got great stocks in the ruck. They're senior bodies and everything, but they're not great ruckmen. It's their weakness. That's why they've gone way back to Goldie. They were chasing Goldie. They're talking about Marshall now, maybe going...
Yeah, Darcy, another one.
Yeah, they're always into ruckman because they haven't got A-grade ruckman.
Well,
they're bits and pieces. So I think Goad would have the height advantage and make him the first ruck and either Teakle, or probably Teakle if Goad plays. I think it's either Goad or Finbar coming in.
Well, let's paint the picture for all the listeners just in terms of the ruck battle, because they've got Reece Stanley, who's been there for a while. He conducts all the farm interviews when they come down to do the land package deals.
Yeah.
And then the second ruck has been Shannon Neal. So, part-time ruck at best.
Yeah, or blitz ups. That's
Or
rucked in the
blitz-ups,
past a lot.
They've got that ace up their sleeve, which is a big thing. But this segues well into team selection. So, obviously the teams aren't announced yet, but casting my eye over it, I think CCJ will miss.
Yes.
So I think Nick Larky replaces him if fit.
Yes.
100% obviously. But listening to Clarko's presser, it sounds like he's likely to miss again, which is a shame.
They're going to hold him for St Kilda, maybe.
I think so.
If it's 50-50, that's fair.
Yep. So Finbar probably comes in, but I wouldn't be upset with Goad. I must admit, I haven't come across as much of the VFL, haven't covered it as much as I have in past years, so I'm not sure what his forward craft is or how he's gone in the ruck, but I mean, we all know that he's going to be a future talent, and as long as it doesn't do him damage by playing, and he's borderline non-competitive, but sounds like he's been really good in the twos, so if they reward that, then that'd be great.
Yeah, 207 centimetre beast. He's a beast.
He is. Some other changes, I think Will Phillips will make way for George Wardlaw if he's right to go. Another one, interesting comments in Clarko's presser today where he said that he's missed almost a month and he might have to find some fitness back in the twos.
What's Clarko's calendar? A month, it's about a 2-week month. What's he missed? 2? 3.
Three including
three
last
max.
week.
Yeah, okay, 3. He's missed 3.
But he did play last week and had 27, so I'll be bringing him straight back in. I don't think we're in a position right now to be able to sort of let him just get his fitness back.
No.
If he's ticked off to go by the medical staff, he's got to play.
Yep.
We need his grunt in there,
Yep.
especially against the Geelong mids, which I'll get to a bit later on in the pod. But then the big question is, with all the key position players, who plays where, and do we have a look at Zane Dersma? Now, there's been a lot of chat about Zane Dersma.
Maybe too much chat.
Yeah,
to
but
quote Bono, the great man.
I'm still very confident he'll make it. I think the transition to half-back, which I called for at least 10 weeks ago, will be a good one. Get the ball in his hands. We know that he's got the Jared Waite-like flight. And again, referencing Clarko's presser, he said that in the long term he sees him as a Jack Gunston sort of player, which you could see.
Yes.
But I think sending him to half-back, get some footy in his hands. We've seen how beneficial it is for McKercher, Sheasel, O'Sullivan. He's not quite that type of player, but getting the footy in his hands, he's a pretty reasonable user. If it means he comes into the seniors and gets more of an opportunity there than playing behind PC and Bull, then I'm all for it. And I think it's a position we haven't really locked down either. Like, they've got Hardiman down there, who should be first choice. Then you've got Daniel. Then who's playing the LMAC role is sort of the question I'm thinking at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I'd like him behind the ball, get him in. I'd like Colby to move up in the midfield. I know he's in career best form, arguably. He was very good in his first year. But get him up round the ball. A bit of pace, break out on that left foot.
Who do you think of the key defenders will miss?
Probably either Pink or Logue.
I think they've got to play Pink. I hope they don't drop Dawson, but I could see them dropping Dawson.
I think Dawson takes their big full forward.
Shannon Neal.
Yeah. He's roughly the same height and everything. We haven't got a monster back, apart from Chom. I wouldn't call him a monster. He's got the height, but we want to free him up to try and get an intercept going. So I think Dawson, there's no harm in playing him.
Get games into him.
Yeah, I'd rather get games into him than Logue or Pink. And I know Pink's had a pretty solid year for what probably been above expectations, or the low expectations we probably had on him. Yeah,
we might park it for now because we'll get to the defensive matchups, but it'll be interesting to see because they don't have quite the conventional sort of Adelaide three tall forwards, the Cats. So before we get there, let's have a look at the last time we met. We were there, round 20 last year in Hobart. We lost by 40 points, 106 to 66. Our best on that day, Harry Sheasel. It was the day he picked up the injury that ultimately ended his season, but he was everywhere. He had 36 disposals, he kicked a goal, 14 score involvements, which was a record for players under 22. He was clearly the best on ground that day, backed up by your man Big X, who had 25 touches, 8 tackles and 8 score involvements. So thank you very much in the ruck.
Yes, we're going to miss him again. I don't think we dwelled on and gave the props.
No, you talked about it for at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, we probably needed 20. Because look how much we miss him. And watching what Grundy did to us must be what the opposition watch when they see X just destroy their team. Unfortunately, he doesn't get enough. We don't have enough A graders to capitalise on it so we actually win games.
Watching Grundy was like watching an AFL ruckman play against an under-16. So that's what it looked like for a while.
Yeah, that's what it's like when X rucks against most of them.
But I want to continue on when we haven't won for a while. I mean, I think
against
it's
Geelong.
9 or 10 in a row against Geelong. But let's cast our eye to the last time we did beat them, which was, I had to go a while back here through the archives, Chief. It was round 15, 2015. We beat them 120 to 79, but we actually beat Geelong twice that year. Nice. So we beat them down at Cardinia, and then later in the year, the game I'm referencing now was at Marvel, when it was coming off the 2014 semi-final win against them. So we had the wood over them for a little period there. Some of the best on that day, pod favourite, our first ever guest, Ryan Bastanak. Basti had 27. One of my all-time favourites, Andrew Swallow, he had 24, 10 clearances and 2 goals.
Yeah, look at the clearances. He'd have been in there, and the tackles.
And Sean Higgins, who was another great free agents pick-up. He had 19 and kicked 3.
Nice. Yeah, those were the days. We want them back again.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
So let's have a look at the midfield battle because we are very one-dimensional, and if we don't win it out of the midfield, we struggle to make an impact. So that's where it'll be important to get the ascendancy. So I think rolling through there for us, you've got LDU, he'll headline the midfield. Parker, Powell, George if he plays, Harry, Jai might spend some time through there, but their midfield is pretty good as well. They've got Bailey Smith, who's been playing some good footy and would need some attention put on him. Max Holmes, who could be the worry with his leg speed.
Yep.
I think LDU is probably the matchup there. They've got Atkins, who's their defensive sort of mid.
He'll go to LDU.
Yeah, well, he spent a lot of time on George last year as well. They went head-to-head for a while there. And then Jack Bowes obviously rolls through there, and they have the ability to roll a lot of names through there.
Yep.
Cats.
And we need to roll Colby through there.
I'd like to see that as well, especially...
Well, with their pace, let's match pace with pace, because we're not a great defensive unit, so let's just get him in there and say, play to your strengths, be aggressive. You've still got to be accountable as you can, but, be aggressive.
It's funny you say...
And if we get the big goat in there, he should get first hands on the ball. Being a bit of experience, he can be, even in the VFL, he gives away a few free kicks, so he's just got to...
He gets angry pills. I like it.
Yes. And he's a bit of a Mr. Fix-It.
Yeah,
around the club. I saw
that.
Yeah, might get into my place.
Yeah, like Cam Patterson.
He'd be able to clean out the gutters on the house.
Remember when Cam Patterson...
Without a ladder.
Remember when Cam Patterson used to train and then go work night shift at Bunnings?
Yes, I do remember that. A name from the blast from the past, Cam Patterson.
Got off topic again here. But I want to talk about, you mentioned accountability. Now, whoever is on the wing with Ollie Dempsey needs to be accountable. So he has charges forward, gets to the goal square, has a great leap. So even if they bring in Dersma, I wouldn't mind seeing him play on a wing.
Well, I like that matchup. I know we were talking about him playing back, but let's put him defensively minded on Dempsey, because he's taller than him. And Dempsey... basketball background, has got a good leap, but just go with him. But whether he's got the tank to do it for a full game...
I don't think he does.
No, but obviously who would be next? Probably Jai.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Dill Stevens on him.
No.
After some of the defensive efforts that were highlighted of our man Disco on Isaac Heaney, I would be putting him anywhere near
I think Jai's better defensively.
Yes.
But I'd give that role to Big Game Zane and see if he can play a big game.
Let's have a look at our back line. So, having a look at their forwards, they've got a lot of dangerous forwards, the Cats. So, I'll start off with the lesser names. So, Brad Close, Ollie Henry, they can get on the scoreboard. Then they've got Brian Myers, Tyson Stengel, Patrick Dangerfield spending a lot of time forward. That's a matchup that he's given me nightmares already.
Yes, he's very good on the lead, and he's a bull. I mean, if anyone has seen him live, talk about the big shoulders and the big, thick, 20 pre-seasons or whatever he's done. He was natural. Even as a kid, he was solid. He's a big worry. And talking about their small forwards, they're probably the ultimate get up to help out the back line, then just sprint back to goal.
Which
very much like hot ball, as I hate to say it.
That's got to be a game plan that has to be drilled in for the week. It needs to be shown all their strategy of getting up, because Hawthorn, as we mentioned on the review pod after that game, they killed us of getting front to back.
Well, it only takes one player to be asleep or not in the right position. The weakest link in the chain, the whole system breaks down. And they're good enough to, if there's someone out, hit the target.
Yeah. And it's not like us where we stuff it up. These guys have played together a lot of footy.
Well, that's right.
They're a really impressive outfit, so that's going to be dangerous. I think you're right with Neil. I think Dawson gets that matchup. The Dangerfield one worries me, because who plays on him when he's forward? I mean, the one who could probably take him for strength is probably Griffin Logue.
Yep.
But we know he's been...
Well, just give him that assignment.
Maybe he needs to get the core treatment and say, back shoulder, you're going to play on danger when he's forward.
Yeah, but what worries me is when it hits the ground and it comes to twisting and turning, Logue's on the train tracks.
And I think this is an important moment.
Can it be taped? Oh, sorry.
I think it's an important moment to sort of notice that impact that Elmac has playing on these sorts of types, because some of his ball use has been poor in the past, but he does well on these types. Like Kyle Langford from Essendon, he always does well on him. And he's the plug in the team that could play on that hybrid. Without Elmac, we don't have anyone to play on a Dangerfield.
No, and you can't put someone like a Stiffy Hardiman on him because he's just too not seasoned enough.
Exactly.
You see, talking about Elmac, sometimes you just don't realise what you've got until they're gone, and sometimes you people can dwell on the negatives, and it's, unfortunately, that's a bit of human nature when you're barracking for your team and your team's losing. The negatives stick in your mind more than the positives. But what about Toby? Can we send the Pink Pony Club to him?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon.
Who goes to Jezza?
Well, that's either Pink Pony Club, but I'm sending the Chomden to him. If it was me, he'd be my number one pick, and then
I don't know if he's got the tank.
Well, we'll find out.
We will. It's gonna be. It's scary. Just trying to.
We can never match up on him. I mean, remember poor old Josh Walker. We love Josh, but he played on him at Boot Park once, and Jezza kicked just a lazy 7 without getting out of second gear.
I reckon you could have kicked a couple of Josh Walker that day.
Well,
not necessarily against him.
If I had Jezza's tank and ability, I could have.
Oh, even so. Like some of the delivery he was getting.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to pot walks too much.
No.
So he did.
But he wasn't quick.
His best.
He wasn't quick, and he was 20 metres behind. He was trying to play back shoulder, but after about 2 metres, he was nowhere near his back shoulder because Jezza was just too quick and too agile for him.
As for Stengel, the last match up here I'll go through, I think Stiffy Hardiman probably gets the role on him.
Yep.
I think he's found the perfect balance so far this year of offense and defense. I'd like to see him, I'm going to keep saying it every week, I'd like to see him take more of the kick-outs. I think he's a 70-metre play, especially if he gets that little chip into the pocket and then gets it back. I think he can get over the back of zones doing that.
Yep. Who's the little mini helmet go to then?
Brad Close.
Or Graham?
I think Grimes too dangerous.
Yeah.
I think you've got to have someone a little bit more defensive.
Well, Close is their defensive forward, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he'll probably try and go to Colby, I'd imagine, if Colby's down there.
Yeah, let's look at the forward line. So it's hard to say without the teams being released, but I mean, Sam De Koning, he will get the Larky job if Larky plays, or he'll get Larky's replacement. It's as simple as that.
Which will be, might be Teakle if Goad's in, or it'll be Finbar if the Goad doesn't come in.
Yeah. Then looking, they're a good defensive outfit, the Cats.
Oh,
it's one of the best in the comp.
System,
O'Sullivan, he's fit in seamlessly. He'll probably get the Jack Darling matchup.
Yep.
Or Chom if he stays forward.
Yeah. We didn't discuss that, did we?
No.
So if Larky doesn't come in, there's a fair chance Chom will be forward, which I suppose...
Jezza.
Who goes to Jezza? Pink?
I tell you what, I will sing Pink Pony Club on this pod if he holds Jezza goalless. There you go.
Yeah, all right. You heard that here first. I like it.
Cam Guthrie. Zach Guthrie, he generally gets the smalls for a lockdown, so he'll probably go to PC. And then Tom Stewart's in a bit of doubt whether he'll get up, but don't bother looking at the injury report because Geelong don't update it anyway. They just make their own rules.
They'll make the rules 5 minutes before the game. But hopefully Stewart doesn't play because he plays the loose as good as anyone.
Yeah, and we love kicking it to him. But I think he or O'Connor will get the Zerha role. Probably O'Connor because, as you mentioned, Stewart will play on nobody. Play on Constante or bench and just roll off.
I've got a coaching question for you. Without notice, do we allow them to have Stewart?
No. We've got even numbers.
Just even numbers, head to head.
Yep,
like it.
I can cop losing if we do that. If we just allow them, because I'm sick of hearing impressors, Clarko tell me what the other team do well and do nothing about it.
Exactly.
AKA Sydney, round 4. They're a good corridor team and we did nothing to plug the corridor. I can handle losing, but if we just fall into their hands and just kick it long to Stewart all day, I'll be bald.
I don't care.
I'll rip my hair out, Chief.
We're a young, inexperienced team. They're a seasoned finals team who know how to play that role. So whatever plans we come up with to try and negate it, they'd have seen it all before. So I'd rather even numbers, head-to-head, be aware they're going to shotgun, slingshot it out of the back line every chance we can. And the other thing, it makes it easy for us as spectators, but also the coaches and the list managers to see who's performing and who's not, who's half asleep.
Who's defensively accountable.
Yes, who's trying their guts out.
So that'll be interesting. It's time for Baz's big call. Now, you've gotten stuck into me that it's usually about goals and key forwards, so I'm turning to the all-team defence, not necessarily the back six, but my big call this week, which might not seem like a big call, but if you have a look at the previous 10 games against Geelong, it's a massive call.
Yep.
I've got us to keep Geelong under 85 points.
Wow, I'd be happy with that, as long as we kick over 30.
Yeah.
But that would be a massive defensive effort under the lid on the fast track against a top 4 side.
Mr. Coleman leader who's sniffing a sneaky 100.
Yeah, and they have to win, like to keep top 4 home finals, whatever, alive for them. And they're probably looking for a bit of a percentage kicker as well. So that would be magnificent. And I think it's meant to be fairly rainy weather around the whole country this weekend. So we're lucky we're going to the only stadium with a roof.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. We'll just go a little bit Tassie here. Right, there was a lot of criticism about it actually rained in the middle of winter in Tassie the last Hawks game from mainlanders. And I just see the showdown is meant to be horrendous weather. For the showdown, their number 1 game they have at Adelaide.
Well, it was terrible.
They're going to have to put a roof on it. I'll just leave it. Take that as a comment.
It's a winter sport. I'm not getting sucked in.
No,
I'm not getting sucked into it.
It's a North Pod, so we won't go into the Tassie Stadium too much.
Let's talk predictions. I've got the Cats, unfortunately, but 6 goals. I think 36 points.
I reckon there are a couple of goals a quarter better than us, but if we can win 1 quarter and keep it under 40, I'll be wrapped.
Well, I don't want to... Come on, put a number on it. Don't say under 40. What's the...
39.5.
Where's the 0.5 coming from?
I don't know. We'll go 40.
Righto.
An even 40. But let's win a quarter. I'd like us to win a quarter.
Right, so let's...
And mate, I hope it's the first quarter, because 1, that'd be pretty rare for us, and 2, to get us up and about in the stands.
Wow, yes. And it'd be interesting to see the crowd, because a lot of supporters have got fatigue from this football club, and hopefully get around and support the boys Saturday night, prime time, under the lid. But
yep,
yeah.
What better? I mean, I've just tipped Geelong to win by 40, but I'm still looking forward to seeing us play live. And I think we're going to sit behind the goals, upper level, and try and have a good look at the view, the behind the goals. Look at the running patterns and all that sort of...
You might have to get on ABC. Remember when Dermy used to sit behind the goals and do commentary?
Yes.
Yeah, you might have to do that.
Well, that wasn't...
Make a phone call.
Yes.
Call Hutchie, SEN.
It's going to be real David King type stuff.
Yeah, oh God. No, it'd be good. Right, you've got a new segment today, Boo.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't do much, but I do come up with a few thought bubbles and run them past you, and this one got passed. So it's in the rundown.
Green lit?
Yeah, probably from now until... the end of the draft, we're going with the Rawlings rumour files. So it's coming to that time where there's a lot of media interest and talk about who's getting traded where. I mean, the shock drop of Curnow wanting to go to the Gold Coast, take up surfing.
Yeah, and you got a thought about Charlie. He's shared with me on the phone today that if he wants to get out of the spotlight.
Yeah, well, apparently he wants to get out of the Melbourne bubble and not play for a big club. Well, he can stay at home and come and play for us if he likes.
They'll forget who he is
a smaller club, yeah. But, yeah, that's interesting. And he's signed till 2029, but we know contracts don't mean a lot. But anyway, that we're not going to say. We'll look at other clubs a bit like big names like Curnow, but we'll probably more focus on who we may be linked to.
Which is not many, but I think this is a good opportunity to talk about the Zane Dersma stuff. Excuse me, with the news from John Ralph that under no circumstances will he be traded, and
I agree. Hold your cars.
I agree. Unless they come with two top tens, then entertain it. But otherwise, which no club would. I'm not.
Well, this is a weaker draft, which we'll probably lead to. We're going to discuss what we did last year a little bit, but it is a weaker draft, so you might get. But it's not so much the picks; it's who you're going to pick up, and yeah. I'm still holding on big game. I haven't given up on him. I've said that 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I'm sticking with it.
Well, can you imagine if we were doing the pod, what some of the questions would have been at the end of year 2 about LDU?
Yeah, well, he took a long time to come. He showed glimpses, but to be a consistent... We used to say, he's got to get over 20 possessions because he's 18, 19 were really good, but he wasn't getting up. Now he's...
Cunners, when he first started.
Cunners was slow, and they're playing in the midfield, not down in starvation corner of a forward line that doesn't get a lot of entries.
And when you do a good lead, they just kick it to Silv 1 on 3.
Yeah, and then crumbing the pack isn't really his go. He's more your your third tall, kick it to him on the lead, or he can float across the pack and take a mark. Anyway, we'll get to... I'm still thinking he's a talent, so let's just... he's probably frustrated himself because he's not getting a game, and he sees all his other draft class are getting games and nominated for Rising Stars and things. But I'm glad they're playing him down back and trying him out in a different position where it's a bit easier to get the ball.
And let's just say as well, like, he's got a lot to work on. Some of his defensive efforts have been poor, so
Yeah, we've called
he's
them
got to
out.
want to do it too.
Yeah, exactly.
There's lots of players that come in talented and don't have the commitment. So I reckon he does, but it's a part of his game that drastically needs work, and that's another part about going to defence. He's going to have to learn to defend.
Yes. Or his player's going to make him look silly kicking 6 goals. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But that'll sharpen him up. Right, and we're talking about the trays, but Cal Toomey's dropped his top 25. I think the Herald Sun dropped to top 30.
Which, just say for
Fox
our listeners,
Sports
usually you
top
would
30.
printed them all off, highlighted on the pin
not
board.
so much to the first draft of July, but I certainly take an interest from now.
Not this year.
And, well, that leads us into the Whitlock trade. So there'll be a lot of people it's pick 2 as it currently stands. Hopefully we get it up to pick 3 or 4, but probably more likely 3's as high as we can get it. But you can't be focused on the pick 3 number. You've got to see the player. And if you look at these, and 2 or 3 will probably go out by at least 1, or if not 2. There's 2 Gold Coast Academy products who may get bids before our pick.
Zeke Ewan definitely will.
Yes. Anyway, let's not go on about too much, but let's focus more on the player. And at this point in time, the player would likely would be either a Duff Tyler type. He's a ruckman, 200 centimetre ruck forward ruck.
Don't need it.
And Big Game's brother. He's shot up. He was number 1 in a couple of them, and I think 2 or 3 in the others. So that's probably, and he's a 191, pretty much the same as Big Game's own. So he's shot up into that. So that's who.
There's a lot of 180 mids.
Then there's a lot of 180 mids. A lot.
Which, just to clarify that, using a bit of link, 180 centimetres is what we mean.
Yeah,
by
180
that. So
centimetres.
short mids,
Shorter mids, and we've got plenty of them. So it's basically Dersma or the ruck forward that would be missing out for Whitlock. And let's not forget, we did get a little bit back from Richmond in their first pick of the second round, which will probably end up being around 30-ish.
Yeah, but I can see a world where we take 19 and 20 as it'll start.
Yep, and trade.
20 and 21 and trade it to get up a few
Yeah.
spots and get in that first round, potentially.
Well, West Coast's going to get pick 1, and they're probably going to get compensation for losing Oscar. So that'll give them pick 1 and 2. So even if we finish second last, it'll be pick 3, and hopefully if we beat Richmond and St Kilda, it'll be pick 4, which will then turn into probably pick 6, 7, 8, maybe, depending on where they bid.
But I found it interesting that it was from pick 10 onwards last year, I think, that North started offering the first round for Whitlock. So they rated him as a, top 12, top 15 player.
Yeah, which if you go back to this time last year, because it all changes, and it's only opinion of different punters or journalists, but both the Whitlocks were in about the early teens last year, and then they both floated out to where we end up getting him, and where his brother, his twin, who was actually rated a bit higher in most of the columnists' rankings, went in about 30.
Yeah, mid-30s, I think.
Oh, a bit early in the mid. But anyway, that's enough about the draft. We'll get right into that when our men's season's over.
Right, so let's get into the tipping for the rest of round 20, which I'm not going to go off about the scheduling because I've done that enough to you and it drives me nuts. But we want to thank SC Rings, our partner, who have once again jumped on. It's getting very tight. Bulls cooking with a slight lead, Bulls cooking in Hayden T94 with a slight lead on 120. So definitely up for grabs at the moment. So I want to give a shout out to Holy Sheezers.
Oh,
His name is, from a couple of weeks ago, was the Soul 9. And obviously we didn't do a preview pod last week due to work commitments. So his time to shine. Tonight, Chief, Hawthorn and Carlton.
have we got a sponsor for the tipping?
I've mentioned them,
Did
SC
you?
Rings.
Oh,
You weren't listening.
Well, I was half asleep again. All right, thank you very much to them. Second year on board.
Hawthorn or Carlton?
I'm going the Hawks.
I'm going the Hawks too, but hope Doherty plays well, as he obviously was a big support for my man Cunners during his cancer battles. So
Yes.
I hope he has a good farewell game tonight.
Yeah, both shared that terrible disease, didn't they? So good luck to both of them.
Probably the worst Friday night game ever. Bulldogs and Essendon.
Oh, Bulldogs, easy.
Bulldogs win that by 100
Easily.
plus. Battle of the
Hang
Bridge.
on, we like to do this. How many's Darcy going to kick?
3. I reckon
Is Ben
Norton- I
playing?
reckon Norton
Big
will kick
Ben?
8.
Is Ben playing?
No.
Mackay?
Well, the teams haven't been dropped yet, but
Is
probably
he?
not.
Okay, no, I think he'll kick 6 plus.
I
easy,
think he'll kick
without
3 and
trying.
Norton will kick 8. There you
Okay.
go. The Battle of the Bridge, Giants and the Swans.
Oh, well, my head says Giants. The heart says it's a bit like the showdown. The Swan. Well, no, not really, because the Swans seem to always dominate the Giants. But I think the Giants got more to play for. It's at their home ground, your favourite ground,
Worst stadium in Australia.
and it's probably meant to rain up there. There's no roof, but I'll still back the Giants and their small forwards.
I'm going the Giants as well. Gold Coast and Brisbane.
Brisbane.
Brisbane for mine. We both got Freo. We've both tipped Geelong, unfortunately. The showdown.
Adelaide.
History tells me you tip Port. You always tip the underdog.
I know history does say that, but I'm still going to go with the head.
They got Rosie back. If it's supposed to rain Adelaide, you got 48 key position players.
Yeah, true. You're trying to talk me into it, but I'm
am.
still sticking with Adelaide.
I'm going Adelaide as well. And then, I've got to start. So you got 2 games on a Sunday. You play one at 2:10 and the other at 3:15. How is your footy fanatic nuffy like me supposed to watch both games?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Well,
from
you'll
the
be sitting at
AFL.
the airport anyway. But on your phone, I suppose,
yeah.
if you're watching it.
Collingwood will both take, no doubt.
Yeah.
And then St Kilda, Melbourne.
I'm going the Saints under the lid.
I'm going, go D's. I've got
Yeah.
the D's and
Nasiah.
well, hopefully...
Seeing we'll go back to Rawlings' rumour files, I reckon Nasiah's gone.
Where to?
Well, Adelaide, I can't pick.
There is-
Not Adelaide, the town or the city, not the
There is
club.
no way that Port can get that trade done. They've got no draft capital.
Well, after that, they can go 2 years in the front.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, hopefully he then walks and he can just walk up the road to Arden Street and we'll have him.
The
for
only
a
way,
year or two.
just to do a bit of trade talk, the only way that Port will get Nasiah is if Butters leaves. There you go.
Yeah. Well, there'll have to be players involved, and I don't know who's out of contract or who's. I mean, obviously they signed Bergman. That would have been a logical one to try and throw him in. Anyway, we're not talking trades too much.
No, we're not. Right, that's just about us anyway. Make sure to send in your questions after the game. You find us on socials or send in a voice message for the long-time boners out there, even if you're a new-time boner.
Yeah.
And send that to shimbonerspodcast@gmail.com and we'll play it on the pod and answer your question. Thanks to everyone for subscribing on whatever listening platform you're on. Greatly appreciated. Best way to support the pod, and it costs absolutely zip.
Yep.
So-
And the new segment, Rawlings Rumour File. If you've got any rumours you've heard or just want us to
Actually, I've
discuss
got one.
anything trade. Okay.
I've heard, and it got confirmed, semi-confirmed today.
Semi or Sammy?
Semi.
Semi.
Well, I've heard from someone who has reliable information that messages the pod. They're going to remain anonymous. That Jai Simpkin's been dealing with. This is not trade related, by the way. Significant back injury, and then it was confirmed today. So his mail was good because Clarko mentioned in his presser that Jai wasn't training as he had a pain relief shot that meant he couldn't train for a couple of days. So probably another thing to keep in mind when we're potentially being a little bit too harsh on our skipper that he's playing through a lot.
Yeah. Yep. Good call.
So yeah, please send in whatever you hear.
Yes, I'd love to discuss it because we've only got 5 games left, but then we've got the mighty girls coming up
can't
to
wait.
defend their premiership.
Cannot
and I'll tell
wait.
you what, the VFLW girls are on top of the ladder, sealed up minor premiership. So we'll go back to back in both the women's programs.
Fantastic. Silverware everywhere.
Yep.
Right, that's us. Thanks again. Send in your voice messages. Keep an eye on the socials for your questions post-game. Hopefully it's a good performance. If you're going to be at the game and want to say g'day, let us know.
Level 3 behind the goals.
That's probably
That's
what
what
we're
we're
gonna be,
looking at. Unless someone wants to message the pod and get us in the corporates. The finances aren't running that deep at the moment, but we're willing to listen.
Yeah, we'll bring on a sponsor just
Yeah.
for one pod.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll say it every third word if we get into the corporates. No, not really.
There's no bad seats at Marvel.
No, there's not.
and will be dry under the lid. Anyway, looking for a big game from the mighty Shimboners. Kana Kangas.
I'd love to say I'm going in confident, but I'm just praying it's not a bloodbath. Hoping to see the young talent rise once again, but we'll be back on Monday to review, unless we win.
If we win, Baz, we're taking the mic out to the centre. We're sitting down in the middle of Marvel and doing a live one.
I reckon we'll have to get down, sneak down to the rooms. Dude, roaming chief. That'd go off. That would be
Roaming
loose.
chief. Well,
That'd be loose.
That would be loose, especially after a win over
Yeah,
Geelong.
and if you had a few beers, you might try and cuddle up to Big X and just say, I'm your number one fan, X-Man.
So we're appealing it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, you had a few beers. I'd be hiding if I was the North Lawyers. Cause
Yes,
home
they would
truths.
not want to be anywhere in my vicinity.
Right, we've got off the show again. A bit loose, this pod, but thanks again. We'll be back on probably Monday. Until next time.
Kana Kangas.
Gurus.
Good old North Melbourne, they're champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.